Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I have a piece of ash on the lathe right now in spindle orientation with the pith in the center. It was a branch that was from the trees that we cut down in the front yard this year, or early spring, late winter. So I'm going to make a mushroom box, and this is the lid. I'm not going to worry about the grain orientation because the lid and the box will have a big enough definition that it won't matter if they line up. I'm just marking here where the top of the lid is going to be. That way I don't make it too thick or too thin. I will start shaping it after this. So it looks like I cut the part of the video where it shows me finishing the inside with Axe abrasive paste, but I will show that coming up on the outside of the box. So I measured the inside diameter of the lid. I'm going to divide that in half and mark it on the opening where the opening of the box will be. That way I can fit it to the lid. So this is probably the most finicky part of making this box, is fitting it so it fits snug to the lid. That way I can finish the lid. I can jam it on and finish the top of the lid and then carry on finishing the box. So this takes a few times of on and off the lathe, but this is how we do it. So what I'm going to do here is taper this tenon just a little bit. And I'm going to try the lid on. And it goes on part way. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn on the lathe and burnish a line where the lid is going to sit. That way I'll know how big to make the tenon, or how small to make the tenon. So when you get really close like this and you still want it to fit snug, don't put the tool to it again, because you'll guaranteed take too much off. So what I do, I just use a bit of sandpaper and sand down to the size I want it. And then the lid should fit. Perfect. Now I can finish the top. Just a little fast motion here so you don't have to watch me sanding the whole thing. This is at 8 times the speed, and I bring it up to 400 grit, burnish it with a bit of shavings, and add the Axe abrasive paste. There we are. Now I'm just using the abrasive paste on this mushroom. I didn't put the polishing paste on after. I kind of like just the matte finish that I get from this. So something I don't think I've ever mentioned in my videos is when I'm sanding, the lowest grit I start at is maybe well, if it's a bad finish, I'll start at 80. But as I change grits, if I go from 80 to 120, I'll reverse the direction of the chuck, or the lathe. So every grit I change direction, that way it's raising the grain from the previous grit, because the grains will lay down in one direction, so you want to raise them back up when you do the other grit. That way you're getting rid of all the raised grain from the wood. I hope you understood what I just said. Basically, I change the direction of the spin on the lathe with every grit of sandpaper that I use. And that's the lid done. I love the rings that it shows on this wood. So I've marked on the piece of wood that's still on the lathe where the bottom is going to be, and I'm just going to use my parting tool to make a mark where the bottom is going to be. Is that what I just said? Duh. And yes, I did switch to my spindle roughing gouge because it was sharper than my bowl gouge that I was just using. And I'm getting a better finish off it at the moment until I sharpen my bowl gouge. I don't often use an actual spindle gouge for anything that I do. I just use my bowl gouge, and it works great. It's what I've been using since the start of my wood turning journey, and I like using it. Yes, there is a small crack in this piece, but it has been filled with CA glue. I filled that before I started. Note the green line on the Forstner bit, and this is the depth that I have to go. So I'm using the carbide bit to hollow it out, just the sides a little bit, and yes, I did get a small catch there at the start. But thank goodness it was just at the start of the thing and it was small, so I was able to smooth that out. So here I'm going to turn it in reverse and hollow from the opposite side. It just makes it easier on the body, you're not twisted, and you can still anchor your tool against your hip the way you're supposed to, and it just makes it so much nicer for hollowing. So the hollowing of this part was pretty uneventful, so I am just going to skip this part and bring you to the finish. I brought it down to about 1/4 of an inch, maybe 3/8 inch thick walls, and I'm going to part off the bottom after I sand and then use the Axe abrasive paste again on the inside. I did take down the tenon a little bit where it fits into the lid. That way it won't be a snug fit. It'll be an easy slip fit, because it doesn't need to be that snug for this bowl. If someone wants to lift it with one hand, take the lid off with one hand, it will come off. So if you like my content, hit that bell button at the bottom and hit all. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload new content. And don't forget to leave a comment. I love to answer them. Love to hear from you guys, hear what you think. Give a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. You may notice that when I cut off the pieces, I angle the saw away from the piece. That way I'm not going to touch the bottom of it and damage it. So here is the finished piece. Here's the mushroom. The lid fits really nice. Not much play in it, but it's not sticking. So yeah, there it is. Let me know what you think. And I'd like to say happy Thanksgiving to all my Canadian friends and followers. And if you're American, well, you'll come later in November. Okay? Happy Thanksgiving.